Have you ever felt something shift inside you when you close your eyes and focus on a specific sound? A frequency so precise, so powerful, that it seems to reach into the very fabric of your consciousness and whisper secrets that have been hidden from humanity for centuries. If you're watching this, you're among the few who can sense there's something more beyond ordinary perception. You are about to discover why a particular 7-minute frequency has been deliberately suppressed by those who understand its true power. What I'm about to reveal to you isn't found in any mainstream textbook or spiritual guide. This is forbidden knowledge that connects quantum physics with ancient mystical traditions in ways that would fundamentally challenge everything you've been taught about reality. But here's what makes you different from most people who stumble across this information. You're still here, still listening, because something deep inside recognizes the truth in these words. For decades, researchers working in classified quantum laboratories have been studying something they call consciousness entanglement, the ability of human awareness to become quantum mechanically linked across space and time through specific vibrational frequencies. But here's what they discovered that terrified the establishment. Certain frequencies don't just affect consciousness, they can actually activate dormant neural pathways that ancient mystics called the third eye. You see, throughout history, secret societies and spiritual orders have guarded this knowledge carefully. Think of it like a master key that unlocks doors most people don't even know exist. The Hermetic traditions spoke of sound as the first emanation of creation. Ancient Egyptian priests used specific frequencies in their temples to induce transcendent states. Tibetan monks developed singing bowl techniques that could alter brainwave patterns in minutes. But there was one frequency, one specific vibration that was considered so powerful, so dangerous to existing power structures, that it was systematically removed from public knowledge. This frequency operates at exactly 5 Hertz, modulated in a pattern that creates what quantum physicists call a coherence field around the listener. When your brain entrains to this specific pattern for just 7 minutes, something extraordinary happens. Your neural oscillations begin to synchronize with what researchers have termed the quantum vacuum field, the underlying fabric of reality itself. But why was this suppressed? Here's what they don't want you to understand. When ordinary people access this state, they begin to perceive reality differently. Imagine suddenly having X-ray vision for the invisible systems controlling your life. They start to see through the illusions that keep humanity compliant and disconnected. They develop what can only be described as psychic abilities, not mystical fantasy, but measurable changes in their ability to influence quantum probability fields. The ancient Vedic texts describe this phenomenon as spanda, the primordial vibration that underlies all existence. Modern string theory suggests that reality itself is made of vibrating strings of energy. What if these ancient sages and modern physicists are describing the same phenomenon from different perspectives? What if consciousness itself is a quantum field that can be tuned, just like a radio, to different frequencies of reality? Now let me reveal exactly what happens when you expose your brain to this forbidden frequency for 7 minutes. And this is where things get extraordinary. First, your neural activity shifts from the beta waves of normal waking consciousness into what neuroscientists call the gamma coherence state. This is the same brainwave pattern observed in advanced meditators who have spent decades mastering their minds. But with this frequency, you can achieve it in minutes. It's like having a secret elevator that takes you directly to the penthouse of consciousness, while everyone else is still climbing the stairs. During this state, the boundaries between your individual consciousness and the quantum field begin to dissolve. Picture removing the walls of a single room and suddenly realizing you're part of an infinite mansion. You start to experience what mystics have called unity consciousness, the direct perception that all minds in the universe are connected through an invisible network of quantum entanglement. This isn't metaphor or spiritual poetry. Quantum physics has proven that entangled particles remain connected regardless of distance, influencing each other instantaneously. The second major shift occurs in what researchers call your intention field. When your consciousness operates at this frequency, your focused intentions begin to influence probability at the quantum level. This is why ancient shamans, Egyptian priests, and mystical adepts throughout history guarded these techniques so carefully. They understood that consciousness operating at certain frequencies becomes a creative force in reality itself. But there's something even more profound that happens during these 7 minutes, something that will fundamentally shift how you see reality itself. Your brain begins to access what neuroscientists call non-local consciousness, awareness that extends beyond the physical boundaries of your brain and nervous system. It's like discovering your personal radio can suddenly tune into cosmic frequencies. Suddenly, you start receiving information, insights, and knowing that couldn't possibly come from your ordinary sensory experience. But here's what will absolutely blow your mind, and I need you to pay close attention to this next part, because what I'm about to reveal will fundamentally shatter everything you believe about the nature of time itself. The third hidden law of entanglement frequency involves what quantum physicists call retroactive influence. When your consciousness operates in coherence with the quantum field, you don't just influence present probability. You can actually affect past quantum events that haven't yet collapsed into fixed reality. Think of it like editing a movie that's still being filmed. This sounds impossible until you understand that from the quantum perspective, time isn't linear. Past, present, and future exist simultaneously in what physicists call the block universe. Ancient mystery schools encoded this knowledge in their teachings, but always in symbolic language that protected it from misuse. The Egyptian Book of the Dead speaks of the soul traveling through different dimensions of reality. Tibetan Buddhism describes the Bardo states where consciousness transcends ordinary time and space. Hindu traditions teach that through proper use of sound and vibration, one can access the Akashic records, the quantum information field containing all knowledge that has ever existed or ever will exist. This is why certain governments and institutions have worked so hard to suppress this information. When individuals access these frequencies regularly, they become virtually impossible to manipulate or control. They start operating from a level of consciousness that sees through propaganda, deception, and the artificial limitations imposed by society. They become sovereign beings, connected directly to the source of creativity and infinite intelligence. The effects aren't temporary either, and this is what makes this discovery so revolutionary. Each time you expose your neural network to this frequency, you're literally rewiring your brain for higher consciousness. It's like installing new software that upgrades your operating system permanently. Neuroplasticity research shows that just 7 minutes of this specific entrainment creates measurable changes in neural connectivity that persist for hours, days, and with regular practice become permanent upgrades to your consciousness. But here's what I haven't told you yet. This frequency doesn't work alone. It requires a specific protocol, a precise sequence of preparation, exposure, and integration that ancient initiates spent years learning to master. This protocol involves 3 distinct phases that must be perfectly timed and synchronized with your natural biorhythms. The mystics never revealed this final piece of the puzzle in their written teachings because they understood that consciousness technology this powerful could be misused by those with selfish intentions. They taught it only to carefully selected students who had proven their wisdom and compassion through years of preparation. But here's what modern quantum research has finally revealed. The frequency exists, but activation requires the forbidden protocol that bridges ancient wisdom with quantum mechanics in a way that amplifies the effect exponentially. You've come this far on this journey of discovery, which means you're ready for what I'm about to reveal next. The frequency exists, but activation requires the forbidden protocol that unlocks its full potential. What you've learned so far is just the foundation. The real power lies in the precise method of activation, the exact timing sequences, and the quantum breathing technique that synchronizes your biofield with the frequency itself. Stay with me, because what comes next will change everything you thought you knew about the power of consciousness. Now I'll share what took me 15 years to discover. After studying with mystics across 3 continents, diving deep into quantum consciousness research, and experiencing my own profound awakening, I finally understood why most people never access their true power. They're missing the forbidden protocol that bridges the gap between ordinary consciousness and quantum entanglement. The fact that you've stayed with me this far proves something deep inside you recognizes the truth in these words. That recognition isn't accidental. It's your consciousness responding to frequencies that have been calling to you your entire life. You're ready for what comes next, and what comes next will change everything. The ancient masters knew something that modern science is only beginning to rediscover. They understood that consciousness isn't confined to your individual mind. It's part of a vast, interconnected web that spans all of existence. When you learn to consciously access this web, you gain the ability to influence reality in ways that seem impossible to those still trapped in limited thinking. But here's what they never told you in those ancient texts. There's a specific protocol, a precise sequence of steps that activates your quantum entanglement capabilities in exactly 7 minutes. This isn't meditation as you've been taught. This isn't visualization as you understand it. This is something far more powerful and far more dangerous to those who profit from keeping you disconnected from your true nature. I call it the forbidden 7-minute entanglement activation protocol. And I'm about to break it down for you step by step. Step 1 is what I call frequency calibration. And remember, precision here is everything. For the first 90 seconds, you're going to do something that sounds deceptively simple, but creates profound changes in your neural pathways. You're going to breathe with mathematical precision, not deep breathing, not controlled breathing, mathematical breathing. Think of it as programming your biology with the language of pure mathematics. Inhale for exactly 4 counts. Hold for exactly 7 counts. Exhale for exactly 8 counts. This isn't arbitrary. These numbers create a specific frequency pattern that synchronizes your brainwaves with what quantum physicists call the zero-point field. The ancient Egyptians knew this sequence. They used it in their mystery schools to prepare initiates for consciousness expansion. Modern neuroscience now confirms that this exact pattern triggers theta wave production within 90 seconds. But here's the secret they don't want you to know. During the hold phase, during those 7 counts, your consciousness temporarily separates from your local awareness. For those brief moments, you're accessing the same field that connects all minds across space and time. Step 2 begins at the 90-second mark, and this is where things get intense. This is where you start to feel the real power awakening. They call this phase quantum anchoring. While maintaining that mathematical breathing pattern, you're going to establish what I call reality coordinates. Picture yourself as a quantum navigator setting GPS coordinates for consciousness itself. These are specific mental reference points that allow your consciousness to navigate the quantum field with precision. Close your eyes and visualize 3 distinct points of light. The first point represents your current physical location. See it as a brilliant white light about 6 inches in front of your forehead. The second point represents your desired outcome, or the person you want to connect with. This appears as a golden light to your right. The third point represents the quantum field itself, the vast web of consciousness that connects all things. This manifests as a deep blue light to your left. Now here's where it gets powerful. You're going to mentally draw lines of energy connecting these 3 points, creating a triangle of quantum coherence. As you trace these connections with your mind's eye, you're literally programming your consciousness to navigate between different probability states. Step 3 is what separates masters from beginners, and this is why most people never break through to genuine quantum awareness. They stop just before the real magic begins. At the 3-minute mark, you enter what I call coherence resonance. This is where your personal energy field begins to vibrate in harmony with the universal consciousness matrix. Imagine two tuning forks resonating together, except one of them is the entire universe. Continue the mathematical breathing, maintain your triangle of light, and now add this crucial element. With each exhale, you're going to project a pulse of intention through your triangle. Not just any intention, a specific quantum signature that carries your desired outcome into the field of infinite possibilities. Here's how you create that signature. As you exhale through those 8 counts, mentally repeat this phrase: I am quantum, I am connected, I am unlimited. But you're not just saying the words, you're encoding them with the full force of your conviction, your desire, and your absolute certainty that this connection is already real. Feel that pulse of intention traveling through your triangle of light, connecting your current reality with your desired outcome through the infinite web of consciousness. Each exhale strengthens the connection. Each pulse makes the impossible more probable. Now what comes next is the moment everything changes. Step 4 happens at the 4.5-minute mark, and this is where the protocol becomes truly forbidden. This is why they tried to hide this knowledge for centuries. You enter entanglement activation. This is the phase where your consciousness actually merges with the quantum field, where the boundaries between self and universe dissolve. It's like becoming a drop of water that suddenly realizes it's part of the entire ocean. While maintaining everything from the previous steps, you're going to perform what ancient mystics called consciousness projection. Modern quantum physicists would recognize this as participating in what they call non-local correlation. But you're going to experience it as the most profound expansion of awareness you've ever felt. On your next inhale, instead of breathing air into your lungs, imagine you're breathing the entire universe into your being. Feel your consciousness expanding beyond your physical body, beyond this room, beyond this planet. You're becoming one with the vast field of consciousness that connects all things. On the exhale, instead of releasing breath, you're projecting your awareness directly into that quantum web. Feel yourself becoming part of the infinite network of consciousness that spans all of space and time. You're not just connected to it, you are it. This is the moment when miracles become possible. This is when you access what the ancients called the power of the gods. This is when you tap into the same force that mystics throughout history have used to manifest the impossible. Step 5 begins at minute 6, and this is where you harness that expanded awareness for specific outcomes. I call this phase reality programming. You're no longer just connected to the quantum field. You're now actively influencing it. With your consciousness expanded and entangled with the universal web, you're going to send specific information into the field. Think of it like programming a cosmic computer with your desires. But this isn't wishful thinking. This is conscious participation in the quantum mechanics of reality creation. Visualize your desired outcome with absolute clarity. See it, feel it, experience it as if it's already happened. But here's the crucial part that most people miss. You're not just imagining your desire. You're uploading it into the quantum field as a probability pattern. Feel that pattern spreading through the web of consciousness, connecting with the minds and circumstances that can bring your desire into physical reality. You're literally creating quantum entanglement between your current situation and your desired outcome. Wait until you experience what happens next. Step 6 starts at minute 6 and 30 seconds, and this is where the forbidden knowledge becomes truly dangerous to the status quo. You enter what I call probability collapse. This is where you consciously choose which version of reality you want to experience. According to quantum mechanics, all possible outcomes exist simultaneously until consciousness collapses them into a single reality. What most people don't realize is that you can consciously choose which reality collapses into your experience. While maintaining your expanded awareness and your programmed intention, you're going to perform what I call the quantum choice. You're going to consciously select the timeline where your desired outcome has already happened. Feel yourself shifting from the probability where you're still wanting and waiting into the probability where you already have what you desire. This isn't visualization. This is actual quantum navigation. You're literally choosing which version of reality to experience. Step 7 completes the protocol at exactly the 7-minute mark. This is integration and sealing. You've accessed the quantum field, programmed your intention, and chosen your reality. Now you need to lock it in. Begin slowing your breathing back to normal while maintaining your expanded awareness. Feel yourself gently returning to your physical body, but you're not the same person who started this protocol 7 minutes ago. You're someone who has consciously entangled their consciousness with the fabric of reality itself. As you open your eyes, make this declaration. I am quantum entangled with my highest possibilities. My consciousness is unlimited. My power is infinite. Feel the truth of these words resonating through every cell of your being. Within the first 24 hours, you'll notice what I call synchronicity acceleration. Meaningful coincidences will begin appearing in your life with increasing frequency. It's like the universe suddenly starts speaking your language. People, opportunities, and resources related to your programmed intention will start showing up in ways that seem almost magical. Within 72 hours, you'll experience what I call probability magnetism. You'll find yourself naturally making choices and taking actions that align with your desired outcome, even when you're not consciously thinking about it. It's as if the universe is guiding you toward your manifestation. Within 1 week, you'll begin to see tangible evidence that your reality is shifting toward your programmed intention. This might manifest as unexpected opportunities, new relationships, sudden insights, or circumstances changing in your favor. But here's the most important part. The more you practice this protocol, the stronger your quantum entanglement becomes. You're literally rewiring your consciousness to operate at a level that most people never even know exists. This knowledge has been suppressed for centuries because it gives you access to the same power that ancient mystics, quantum physicists, and enlightened masters have used to transcend the limitations of ordinary reality. When you master this protocol, you're no longer at the mercy of random circumstances. You become a conscious co-creator of your reality. You came here seeking the forbidden frequency that could change everything. What you've discovered is far more profound, a complete protocol that transforms consciousness itself. Practice this daily for the next 40 days, and you'll experience a complete transformation in your ability to manifest your desires. Your consciousness will become so entangled with the quantum field that creating your reality becomes as natural as breathing. Remember the power you felt calling to you when you first clicked on this video. That was your consciousness recognizing its own unlimited potential. You now possess the precise method that ancient mystery schools guarded for millennia, the 7-minute pathway to quantum entanglement. But remember, with great power comes great responsibility. Use this knowledge wisely. Use it to create positive change, not just in your own life, but in the lives of everyone around you. You now have access to forbidden wisdom that has been hidden from humanity for far too long. If this protocol has awakened something within you, if you can feel the shift happening already, then you're ready for the deeper mysteries I'll be revealing. Subscribe to this channel and activate notifications, because what comes next will take you even further into the forbidden knowledge they never wanted you to discover. The quantum field is calling to you. Your unlimited potential is waiting, and now you have the key to unlock it all. Welcome to your unlimited power. Welcome to the life you were always meant to live.